Good morning. Our prelude today is Amazing Grace, number 206 in the hymnal.
Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I'm Ted Nelson, a member of this beloved congregation. We welcome all to join us as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. For more information about our congregation, go to orlandouu.org or email WelcomeTeam@orlandouu.org. Or join us after the service in our usual fellowship, where we gather with each other and chat. One of the breakout rooms is the Welcome Center, where you can bring any questions you have about our church. The meeting number and passcode are on your screen, which will be repeated at the end of worship. All are welcome. A fundraiser to the Unitarian Universal Service Committee, UUSC's, Haiti Emergency Response has been created to welcome the Rev Margalie Belizaire to First Unitarian Church of Orlando and to honor her birthplace, Haiti. A 1U member has offered up to a $7,500 match for a total goal of $15,000. UUSC has received $4,080 as of this past Thursday from our 1U families and friends. Please join in before the challenge match ends on September 30th, 2021. Funds can be donated two different ways, directly to UUSC or through 1U. Please see the details in the chat. The Pride Parade is coming up, and your help is needed. Here's Elizabeth Horn with more details.
Hi, everyone. Elizabeth here from the Board of Trustees, and we want to get you all pumped up about the 2021 Orlando Pride Parade. This is such an important tradition with the 1U community, and if you've been missing your 1U friends and family, we hope you can join us for this outdoor gathering to celebrate our LGBTQ community in Orlando. We've got lots of great ways that you can participate the day of the event, which is October 9th. You can help decorate the float. You can help host our booth. And at the end of the day, we'll need people to disassemble and clean up our float as well. And of course, we would love to have you join us to move in the parade. We have space for 100 participants. So bring yourself, bring your friends, bring your family, and we really hope you can join us. The contact to sign up to participate in any of those aspects of Pride, which again is on October 9th, is Paul. And the email is prideparade2021@orlandouu.org. So come on out with pride, and we hope to see you there.
Our announcements for today all have links in our newsletter and on our website, and will be repeated at the end of the service. Please join me in making an offering to support the many ministries of this congregation. Go to orlandouu.org and click the donate button in the upper right corner, or send a text or mail a check. In addition, our Share the Plate this month is Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. You can also give to our Share the Plate partner directly on their website. Please let us know you donated by dropping a line to programassistant1u@gmail.com. It's wonderful being here with you today. Now, let us worship together once again.
In Unitarian Universalist congregations, we light a chalice when we gather, as a symbol of our faith. Please join with me in the words for lighting the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share.
What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? And these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes, and forwarded emails as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way. As if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we thought. As if we're not also actors in this unfolding story. For this hour we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves for the needing to know, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all already figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here, in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith, that we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already, here and now. Come, let us worship together. Reverend Gretchen Haley.
Today we're reading the story Dreamers by Yuyi Morales. I dreamed of you, then you appeared. Together we became amour, love, amour. Resplendent life, you and I. One day we bundled gifts in our backpack and crossed a bridge outstretched like the universe. Adios, corazon. And when we made it to the other side, thirsty, in awe, unable to go back, we became immigrants. Migrantes, you and I. The sky and the land welcomed us in words unlike those of our ancestors. There were so many things we didn't know, unable to understand and afraid to speak. We made lots of mistakes. You and I became caminantes. Thousands and thousands of steps we took around this land until the day we found a place we had never seen before. Suspicious, improbable, unbelievable, surprising. Unimaginable. Where we didn't need to speak, we only needed to trust, and we did. Books became our language. Books became our home. Books became our lives. We learned to read, to speak, to write, and to make our voices heard. Someday we will become something we haven't even yet imagined. But right now, we are stories. We are two languages. We are lutte. We are resilience. We are hope. We are dreamers, sonadores of the world. We are love, amour, love. Thank you for listening to the story Dreamers by Yuyi Morales.
As we gather together in prayer and meditation, I offer these words from Samuel Trumbore. Holding reality and possibility. I invite you now into a time of gratitude, reflection, renewal, and hope. What an unearned blessing to delight in the calming peace of this space, to hear the robin's song again at daybreak, to feel the warmth of this community. Each moment of wakefulness has so many gifts that offer energy and delight, yet too often they seem unavailable as the weight of our troubles press down on us. The threats to our well-being, real or exaggerated, feel like mosquitoes in the night looking for a place to land. Minds become captive to rising floodwaters, forceful, murky, threatening, and ominous. Even in moments of great danger, the direction of attention is a choice. Fear can dominate the mind, binding it like a straitjacket, or love can unbind it and open it to resource and opportunity. The soil of the mind can be watered with kindness. The thorns can be removed one by one to appreciate the buds ready to flower. Great possibilities await us, even if all we can see is the cliff before us. The grandeur of life, of which we are a part, scatters rainbows in every direction, even as the deluge approaches. Holding reality and possibility together is the holy, hope-filled work of humanity, if we choose it, again and again, in love. As we gather in community, we carry life's hurts and great joys with us. Sometimes sharing these joys and concerns in community begins the healing and expands the joy. I invite you, if you feel called, to share your life's events by writing a name or comments in the chat as this community holds you in love. May we hold all these and one another in love and tenderness, so this congregation may be a source of strength and comfort, courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead.
May I be filled with love. Good morning, Sandy Pollock here. Some of you may remember me from the search committee videos earlier this year, but some of you may not know me because, well, we don't really see each other these days. And that makes it hard to get to know people even a little bit. Rev Margalie asked me to share how I feel about our virtual church situation and how it impacts me. Well, simply put, I hate it. I hate it, it ticks me off, and I'm very disappointed that this is still where we are. I feel like I don't know a lot of you, and as an extrovert, it has been a real struggle. I miss seeing people, and I think I realized just how much at Reverend Margalie's meet and greet earlier this year. I was so delighted to actually see many of you in person and have real conversations. During the Ministerial Search Committee meetings, and there were many, all done on Zoom, we did create a couple of COVID-safe opportunities to be together, some outdoor wine and pizza parties, and it was wonderful. We shared personal stories, and very importantly, we laughed together. I mean, it is harder to stay connected when you're not seeing each other. Even a few minutes before or after a church service, being able to look into people's faces, that does make a difference, right? When you have Zoom conversations, there's the inevitable barrage of, "You're muted," and "No, you go ahead." Because you can't talk simultaneously like in real life, IRL for you youngsters. Conversations are just a bit stilted on Zoom. And yes, we can be closer together if we're vaccinated and we mask, but I mean, that has its drawbacks too, right? I know the windows are the eyes are the windows to the soul, but what about smiles? Aren't they windows to something too? Now, I'm also an optimist who generally looks for the silver lining, and there are a few things that do work for me regarding our current COVID situation. I do trust our leaders and our COVID team to keep us safe, and I certainly don't want to lose any of our members to COVID. I also absolutely love getting to watch church in my jammies while in my recliner, if I want to, right? Actually, I like doing most things in my recliner. But I can attend church from anywhere, and that's really cool. I can also share church with friends who might be interested, but not ready to make that commitment to come into the building. So, in a nutshell, I am hating all of this social distancing and worry and downright paranoia every time I feel stuffed up or extra tired. But I have faith that this will pass. And I often soothe myself with that famous John Lennon quote, "Everything will be okay in the end." So if it's not okay, it's not the end. I look forward to actually seeing you all soon. I know there'll be an end. Thank you.
People need to be together, declared the New York restaurant owner during a recent interview on NPR. I agree with her. People do need to be together. I remember speaking with Joan Nelson, the board president, about the Welcome Home reception that the Bridging Task Force was planning. That was going to be a festive gathering of all of us at the church celebrating our coming together. I imagined joy and laughter, sharing of our lives over a meal, maybe even a speech or two. I also imagined that many of us were looking forward to being together. I know I was. Then just a week and a half prior to when this fantastic event was to take place, it was canceled. Even though it was canceled for good reasons, all we feel is that it was canceled. An opportunity to be together was taken away. People need to be together. I remember when I was with you during candidating week and we did the drive up. The children at different points during that afternoon came up to me with slips of paper that had questions written on them. They read the questions, and from that, we had lovely conversations, as they would have follow-up questions that they formulated themselves. I was looking forward to a similar fun engagement with the children of 1U when Heather Coddington and Emma Dixon, our religious enrichment staff, reached out to me even before I started and asked me to perform a backpack blessing with the littlest ones among us because they were preparing to return to school. The RA staff and I were both looking forward to welcoming the children and their parents and to interact with them while blessing, while sharing with them, blessing their backpacks and their bags. Well, we ended up moving that event online and did not get to be together in person. Our minds could rationalize it was canceled for good reasons, but our hearts were disappointed, and another opportunity to be together was taken away. People need to be together. September 12th was supposed to be the date that we returned to in-person worship service here at 1U. That was the Sunday of our water communion worship service, if you remember. In my imagination, it was going to be a day full of rituals, symbolism to mark all the different new beginnings for us. You and I starting our co-ministry relationship, the start of a new church year, returning to in-person worship after being apart for a year and a half, and so on. Aubrey Connelly and our music director and Linnea Nelson, worship team chair, and I, we talked about shaping a service where everyone met outside of the sanctuary, at the labyrinth and beyond. We would all enter together with the choir leading us in songs. We would acknowledge and bless our religious symbols such as the chalice, our hymnals, banners, and so on. Most importantly, we would have been in person and together. Well, September 12th has come and gone, yet we remain on virtual platforms. In spite of our strong desire to be in each other's company, we are apart. In-person worship service has been postponed. In the context of what is going on around us, it was canceled for good reasons. But it was so close that it felt tangible, which broke our hearts. And another opportunity to be together was taken away. And people need to be together. We've also had to suspend small group gatherings, which had basically just returned to in-person meetings. A choir that had started rehearsing in person, they are now back to primarily online rehearsal. Here, you and I are in our honeymoon period when we should be spending so much time in each other's company, with you stopping by the church office for a chat, or saying hello in the receiving line after a service, or having spontaneous conversations or pastoral care opportunities. But none of that has been happening. That is a lot. And dear ones, what I have recounted so far is only the goings-on from the past couple of months. It has been a while since this church community has gathered in person to worship together. How much you must miss seeing each other's faces, hearing each other's voices and laughter ringing throughout the sanctuary, hugging or simply sharing physical space. experiences I look forward to having with you. So, how is your heart? How is your spirit? Are you getting what you need? Are you finding ways to connect in this loving and supportive community? How is your heart? How is your spirit? Are you getting what you need? Are you finding ways to connect in this loving and supportive community? Beloveds, we find ourselves in an impossible situation. Human beings, we are social beings. We have an innate desire to commune with one another, to be in community. For many of us, being in community enhances our experiences, yet we live in a time where we are potentially a threat to each other's health. I think when we thought that being apart was going to last just a few months, we were on board. We didn't like it, but we were on board. We became warriors. I remember shortly after we went into isolation, I was talking with my niece, Victoria, who lives in New York and has lived in New York throughout the pandemic. Bless her. It was in the early days when we were when we were obsessed with toilet paper and were hoarding it. Remember when that was a thing? When we thought having enough toilet paper was the most that we had to worry about. Wow, how things have changed. At any rate, I asked Victoria if she had toilet paper, and she mentioned she had a 12-pack. I replied, well, good, and went on to suggest that she be mindful about rationing what she had. She replied, sounding almost shocked, what? You think we'll be dealing with this that long? I'm thinking this will be over in the next 30 days, she concluded. How foolish, I thought, but did not say out loud, because surely this would be around for another 3 to 6 months. And I told her as much, well, about the 3 to 4 months part, that is. I thought I was so wise, so prophetic. 3 to 4 months. Quite impressed with myself, actually. But I guess my niece wasn't the only one who foolishly believed that those restrictions that we had to live under were going to be short-lived. Little did I know, little did we all know. For here we are, about 18 months later, and we are still at it. We have realized that this is a much longer fight, which has required so much of us. We are tired. It has been brutal. And many have had no way of replenishing their spirits because that requires human physical contact for them. How is your heart? How is your spirit? Are you getting what you need? Are you finding ways to connect in this loving and supportive community? I can tell you that this separation is not permanent, which it is not. And that that is the board and myself, the board and I are doing everything we can to make it possible for you to gather together again in person as quickly as possible, which we are doing. At the same time, I believe right now it is even more important for you to pay attention to how this separation is affecting you, is affecting us. I am inviting you to pay attention to the grief you might be feeling as a result of being apart. How much have you missed seeing each other's faces, hearing each other's voices, and laughter rang throughout the sanctuary, hugging and sharing physical space? I also invite you to allow yourself to acknowledge these losses and grieve them. Take a moment here. Take a moment right here, right now, to reflect on this question. What are some of the things you miss the most about not being able to gather in person together? Reflect quietly where you are or post in the chat. What are some of the things you miss the most about being apart, about not being able to gather together for worship? Remember that we have a pastoral care team that you can reach out to should you need some support. Contact information for them is being posted in the chat. And now, reflect on these two questions. What new learning that you have acquired during this time apart, this time that you are physically apart, that you are looking forward to sharing with others? And what are you most looking forward to about being together in the sanctuary? Take a moment to reflect on this and post in the chat if you feel moved to. Reflect quietly where you are or post in the chat. People need to be together. Beloveds, you are in my heart. I send you metta or love all the time as I engage in my spiritual practice in the morning. Please take care of your precious self. Until we are together in person, know that we are together in spirit. May we be so blessed.
Receiving as
Please join with me in the words for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Let yourself grieve if you need to. Take care of your precious self. And may you know that even though we're not together physically, you are not alone, as we are together in spirit. Beloveds, worship has ended, and now the service truly begins.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Giving life the shape of justice.